Today, I'm about to give you the manifestation wake-up call I wish someone had given me when I first started my journey. Now, a great quote for this is, "A smart man learns from his mistakes. However, a wise man finds a smart man and learns how to avoid them altogether." And that's what I'm going to be doing in this video for you. I'm going to be giving you my manifestation mistakes so that you can learn from them, therefore not making them yourself, therefore having a more enjoyable and efficient manifestation journey. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear pathway going forward so that you can manifest your desires. And to make it even better, down below in the description, there is a link where you can find a free worksheet that you can pick up right now that will help you with what I talk about in this video. But before we get into this video, to those of you who are new here, howdy, my name is Matthew and I am a manifestation coach. I have helped many people move past the things stopping them from getting their desires, and I can help you too. So if that's something you're interested in, please go down to the comment section or the description and you will see the links to my website where you can find my coaching solutions. If you don't want to work with me one-to-one just yet, but you really want some additional help from me, there is also a link to my membership, which is only £6 per month. And on that membership, you'll find exclusive videos, free worksheets, discounts on worksheets and services, routines, planners, the lot. And there is constantly being more things added as well. So sign up while you can. I'd also really appreciate if you could drop me a like and a comment on this video just to let me know you like this kind of content going forward so I know whether to do more of it or not. And when you subscribe to the channel, be sure to click that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos that will change your life. With all of that said, I really look forward to all your lovely comments, and for those of you who choose to work with me or sign up for the membership, now into this valuable video. Now, since I'm talking about my mistakes a little bit so that you can learn from them, why not start with that? When I first got into my manifestation journey, I used manifestation as like the skeleton key to my problems, so to speak. And what I mean by that is I would have something happen in a 3D and I'd be like, manifestation can fix that. Or I'd have like a terrible spiral about something and I'd be like, I'll just manifest it better. Or I'd kind of like go through my day and then randomly be like, oh, I'm going to manifest. And I was being very reactive to everything as opposed to proactive. Now, at the time, I thought I was being proactive. I thought, oh, I'm going to manifest this change instead of letting it be. I thought that was me being proactive. However, upon learning more about manifestation, upon having more successes within my journey, and especially upon working with clients as well, I realized that that's actually a very, very reactive way to manifest your biggest desires. Because what you're doing is you're going through your day, something may happen, let's just say, for example, you get left on red, and now all of a sudden that is affecting you internally and you're just going, I'm going to manifest a change. Now, considering manifestation is the process of becoming the version of you who has your desire internally through your thoughts, your feelings, and the habits that you have, if you're looking at the 3D, you've experienced something negative and you're using that as a prompt to manifest a change, what's that doing? Reacting to the 3D to a degree. Now, yes, definitely a much more positive reaction to say, here's something negative, I'm going to affirm something positive. 100% I would prefer that over a spiral. However, what I realized I was doing was I wasn't really doing a lot of manifestation until something happened. I would like half-assedly affirm during the day, maybe like a couple of times here, a couple of times there. Something bad happened and I'm like, oh no, I must make this change. And then I get on my manifestation and I start spewing affirmations. But I'm doing it from a reactive, from a, oh my God, I don't have this, I need to force this change standpoint. So all I was actually doing was reacting to it and showing that this thing genuinely affected my mental state and then tried to force a change. Now, for those of you who maybe not even necessarily be reacting to stuff, but you're trying to force a change, it's exhausting, it's not particularly fun, and quite often it can actually feel like we're going backwards as opposed to forwards. And that's one of the mistakes that I made, and I really think that a lot of people do make in their journey, is that they sort of seem to remember that manifestation is a thing when something goes wrong. Now, if you're trying to create something positive while in a negative mental state, you're not going to have the best time doing it. The results will be very much hit or miss. You're going to feel exhausted, you're going to feel drained, you're going to want to give up, and it's going to suck. And that is exactly where I was at some parts of my journey. So, what do we do then? Because obviously, yes, when things come up, you want to ensure that you're handling them in the right way, which I will get onto later in the video. And like I said, the free worksheet will help you with this. But what we want to do is we want to set the foundations for our manifestation before we even get into manifesting effectively. Now, what do I mean by the foundations of manifestation? Well, like I said, the way we manifest is by internalizing the version of us who has our desire through our thoughts, our feelings, and our habits. Predominantly thoughts, but obviously thoughts affect your feelings, and your thoughts also affect your habits. So we want to actually set the foundation of that correctly by knowing what our goal is, knowing what our end result is, and knowing what our manifestation process is going to be. So what does that look like? I recommend pen and paper for anybody doing any kind of manifestation process, just purely because once you write it down, it helps lock it in your brain much more, which I do have a short coming out this Friday, sort of explaining that in a little bit more detail, I suppose. But by writing it down, you have it there. And once you have it written down, you can then start to consider what this means. And what I mean by that is, okay, I have this goal. Let's say relationship. What does it mean to think from the end of having a relationship? What does it mean to feel from the end of having a relationship? What kind of actions or habits would I have if I was in a relationship that I could implement now? By doing this, by understanding this, and by coming up with these lists, we now know the version of us we desire to be, and we now know how to think, feel, and act from the end result. Now, why is this important? Well, if I know for a fact I'm doing the right thing, i.e. I've got a good routine in place, I feel like I'm genuinely staying on top of my affirmations, I'm kind of working on a good mental diet, acting, feeling right, if I've set a good foundation to know I'm doing the right thing, when something comes up in my reality, I won't have to change what I'm doing. And that's what people tend to do. People will tend to be manifesting a loving relationship. They get left on red. They throw all of that out the window. I'm manifesting a text. I'm manifesting commitment. If I could just get the text, then I could get the relationship. Let me change what I'm doing to focus on the text. Just an example, but it does happen an awful lot. Now, what's this doing? It's giving up the persona of your end result to react to the 3D to try and change what is directly in front of you. You're reacting to the 3D. You're showing that you don't have that loving relationship, and you in fact need to change what you're doing in order to make things happen. That is still a reaction. Yes, more positive than spiraling, like I said at the beginning of the video, but still a reaction nonetheless. Still you throwing everything out the window to try and change this thing that's directly in front of you, still being reactive to the 3D as opposed to being proactive with your 4D. If you have the best foundation, if you've really set a good ground for your manifestation, i.e. you've got a good routine in place if you need one, you know how you'd be thinking, you know how you'd be feeling, you know the kind of habits you have, and as the next point will say, you know how to effectively handle the 3D when it does show its ugly face, you won't need to be reactive. You won't need to look at that left on red and say, let me change what I'm doing to make this thing change, because you have the foundations in place. You'll be like, okay, I understand I don't like that. And like I said, I'll go on in a minute on how to actually effectively move past the 3D when it sucks. But I don't need to do anything about that, because here, I'm in this relationship. Here, this is how I feel. I feel the excitement in my chest. Here, this is the kind of habits of it. You've got that good foundation. Therefore, you don't need to react to anything. You don't need to be reactively changing what's in front of you, because you know that if you stay straight, if you sort of follow this road forward, you will get to your destination. You have set a good foundation. Therefore, there is no need for you to wobble and go do anything else, because you know that if you stay on this road, you will reach that end result. Anything else that happens in the 3D in the interim doesn't matter, or it's, a bit annoying, but it's not going to make a difference because you've set a good foundation. That is why I often in my videos recommend pen and paper, because I genuinely feel like it makes a huge difference to what you remember and how you emphasize your goals and how you can mark it all down. But additionally, by setting that good foundation, you're not going to have to change every individual thing as it comes along. You're not going to have to affirm for a bit of the day, something sucky happens, and then you're like, oh God, I'm going to laser focus on that one thing and forget everything else. because you don't need to, because you know that if you carry on with this stuff, you'll reach that end result anyway. That was a big thing for me. I understood that I was becoming reactive. And it did take a little while, I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't like I was like, oh, silly. It took me a little while to notice that all I was doing was affirming a little bit throughout the day and then jumping on things as soon as something negative come up, or as soon as something I didn't want happened, or as soon as I started to think, hey, it's not here yet. All I was doing was becoming a victim to the external, because I was saying, this message makes me change my game plan. This lack of response makes me change my game plan. So I started to work on building a good foundation where even when my body was screaming at me that I needed to change something that was in front of me, I keep looking over here and pointing, and it's because my beautiful cat is laying right there all cute, and I keep using it as an excuse to look at her. But I kept using these little things in the 3D as a way to fall off the track, make little changes, and yeah, maybe I got that text because I was making the change to the text, but it didn't get me anywhere. I didn't get anywhere until I got back on the right course. Now, I could have just saved myself time, stress, and effort by just staying on that course. So I highly recommend you get a pen and paper or utilize the worksheet that I've given you. However, the worksheet is actually going to be more so to help you when something has come up that's going to make you react, and how to actually handle it going forward in terms of your foundations and stuff. But before you get into any kind of manifestation or goal, it doesn't necessarily have to be a manifestation, but like some sort of goal, you know, I want to score 3 goals this weekend of football or whatever. Write it out, get clear on it, understand that goal, understand what it means from that perspective to think, feel, and act, and understand your routine if you need one, and that will set a solid foundation. And you will know that if you stay on this course, you will get your desire at some point in the future, and you don't need to jump off to fix this thing over here, fix that thing over there, fix that thing up there. It's all part of the course. You're on that right track as long as you've set a good foundation. So I highly recommend you do that and stop jumping off to try and fix things. I just want to take this time to say a very, very sincere thank you for everything that you guys have done for this channel. I've been doing this channel now for I think about a year and a half, and I've met so many amazing people, and so many incredible people have supported me. Whether you don't like the videos or don't comment, you just show up every now and then and watch a video, I thank you. If you're constantly commenting and supporting and liking, I thank you. If you're signing up for the membership, I thank you. If you're a client of mine, I thank you. Every single one of you that have ever clicked on my comment, clicked on my video, watched any length of time, and at least enjoyed the content, you have my deepest appreciation, because you guys have helped me get to where I am today. I wouldn't be able to support my family, do something I love doing, having the freedom to build my life up in the way that I wanted without your consistent support. Now, you all know that I appreciate you all, which is why I give so many competitions and discounts and so much for the membership, such cheap prices and stuff. But I don't think I've ever actually outright in a video just sat here and said, I thank you for everything that you've done. So it's true. You do not understand how much of a difference a single like can make, or a single comment could make, or watching a video for an extra minute or two could make. So for those of you that do any of those things, and even for those of you who just watch and don't really interact whatsoever, but you just like to show up every now and then to watch the videos, you have my deepest and sincerest thank yous. So I will still be doing this for as long as I possibly can, for as long as you guys show up for me. But I thought I would just take this moment now to say thank you so much for all of your support. Now, I really hope I haven't wasted too much of your time. Let's get into this final point. Now, on to how we can actually move past these things that come up so that we can stay on the right course without them affecting us in the back of our mind constantly. Now, just like you, I'm human, I think anyway, and I will have moments where things do get to me, just like you do as well. I'm not sitting here saying just be a robot, have no emotions, and just stay on the right course. Of course, we're going to have things that suck. It is going to suck to get left on red. It is going to suck to have another rejection from a job. These things will suck. But we know that if we have the right foundation, they will only suck for so long before we actually get what we want. But the way that we can utilize, or the thing that we can utilize when it comes to these negatives to help us stay on the right course without accidentally recreating more negative, is, in my opinion, breath work. Something that you can do that is really effective is to literally just calm yourself down in the moments when you're having those down moments. I do have a longer video of this on my members only, which I do recommend you go check out. It's on the manifestation tier. It's just been posted and it's a great video, so I would recommend you check it out. But for the purposes of this, Breath work is a really great way to calm yourself down. Simply just taking a few seconds to just take a few deep breaths will calm yourself down. When you're in a state of panic or fear or anxiety, your mind becomes clouded. You go into a bit of a fight or flight, and your mind, the judgment, it all becomes a little bit clouded, and therefore you will immediately jump to something that will seem like the most logical, but unfortunately in most instances the most negative outcome, therefore making things worse for yourself. And this is often why people then go into that reactive mode. However, if you can literally just take a few seconds before you react in any kind of negative way to stop for a second, take a few deep breaths and calm yourself down, you will notice then that not only do you feel a little bit calmer, yes, it may still kind of suck a little bit, but it's not gonna be so negatively impacting. This will also give you the freedom and the time to actually think more clearly and think, what am I going to do about this? Now, you can either choose to be reactive and try and change everything, or you can be proactive with your end result and say, yes, this sucks, but let me just feel these feelings through. Let me take a few deep breaths. Let me go and do something that makes me feel happy or makes me feel special or makes me feel blissful or whole or whatever it is that you need in that moment. And once you've done that, you can then go, but it doesn't matter because here's my strong foundation. Let me continue forward, persisting in that. Let me continue with my end result affirmations instead of throwing them out the window to try and change this one little thing and get a epoxy message. By finding an effective and healthy way, and because I know that many people will just try to smother it or bury it or run away from these thoughts and therefore keeping that tension and stress like locked in, by finding a healthy and effective way to move past these events where you can feel the feelings through, but you can still think more logically to say, will it benefit my end result by changing this thing now or committing to the end result? You will have a better outcome. Because it's like that saying, we lost the battle but we won the war, or we won the battle but lost the war, depending on how you want to look at it. Yes, you may be able to fix that thing, but you've thrown away your end result momentarily while you do so, and therefore you've lost the war. Won the battle, lost the war. Whereas if you're able to move past this thing, maybe you get left on red for a little bit longer, but by continuing with that strong foundation, you know that you're going to get your end result at some point in time, therefore rendering that being left on red moot, because at some point in the future you're going to have the full-blown relationship in the palm of your hands. And in that case, it's lost the battle but won the war. So I recommend breath work or some sort of calming exercise, meditation, physical exercise, doing something you enjoy, because that puts you back to a more level playing field where you can then choose, do I want the short win but the long-term loss, or do I want the long-term win with the short-term loss? And even then, it might not even necessarily be a short-term loss. By committing to your end result and not letting this thing affect you too negatively, your end result will start coming into fruition much more quickly, which means you'll probably even have that thing render itself within a reasonable time frame anyway. And that was my experience. When I finally let my ego get out the way and say, look, stop fucking changing the things that are like immediately in front of you. Stop reacting to the 3D and just go back to your end result. I have another story in a second, which isn't my own, but I'll explain it in a second. But by doing this, I realized I was getting more successes. I was having a more enjoyable journey, and I was less stressed. Another great story is the one from Neville Goddard, where he was reacting to his 3D, and then he went to his mentor, Abdullah, and was like, yo, I'm still like not having the success. And Abdullah shut the door in his face after saying, you're in Barbados. I know many of you would have heard that story, and I've simplified it massively because I don't want this video to be too long. But even Neville Goddard had moments where he was like, still not happening, and his mentor was like, but is it your end result though? In a sense, essentially, in the words that he said. And then said, no, it's not, continue with your end result. So if Neville Goddard had those moments, it's okay for you to have those moments. But if Neville Goddard's teacher also said, bro, shut up and go back to the end result, I'm going to tell you, bro, shut up, go back to the end result. So set that strong foundation, find a way for you that is effective and healthy to let go of those moments when they come up, and you will have the best success you've ever had. Because that's what I did, and now I don't even really notice the things that happen in my 3D reality if I need to make any changes, because I know that my foundation is strong enough to get me my result. If you want to go deeper into the whole breathwork idea, because I explain it in a lot more detail and give a whole lot more description on how the body and mind works when it comes to it, I recommend you go check out the most recent video on the members only for the manifestation tier. But if not, hopefully this has given you some ideas, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video because I've enjoyed making it, and I even enjoyed making the worksheet for you guys to utilize. It's something new. I thought I'd try something different where I actually give you a tool that will be available upon this video going live. The worksheet is going to be completely free for the next 2 weeks, and then after that it's going to be free for members, and it's going to be like £1 for non-members, just for the purposes of building up more things for the people that are members. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to drop me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you lovely people in the next one. Bye bye.